Hey guys, so today I have swatches of the Lights Lacquer Cabin Fever collection. There are 6 polishes and some nail art tattoos here, so I will link the Lights Lacquer website down below where you guys can check these out because they are available right now. I also have a coupon/affiliate code with Lights Lacquer, so I will have that on the screen and in the description box. 6 polishes here all together, and I'll get into the swatches. So these are the super cute holiday forest winter themed nail art tattoos that are coming out with the collection. The first polish is called Barely Frio, and this is described as a baby peach with a fine diamond shimmer. Now this is a Crelly with those fine holographic flakes in there, so it is a bit sheer on the first coat, but it does apply very evenly. The formula feels good, and I really like that delicate holographic shimmer that's in there. It builds very well on the second coat. It remains a little bit sheer, but it also stays even. I actually really like it this way. I would probably wear it in 2 coats, but I did add a third just to see how much coverage we could get. This did cover completely for me in 3 coats, and it brought that base color out a bit better as well. So that is 3 coats of Barely Frio. The next polish is called I Smell Snow, and this is described as a laurel green with a fine diamond shimmer. This is another Crelly. It's very even, but the base is pretty sheer, even for a Crelly. I would say this probably leans a little bit more jelly than Crelly. The shimmer in here, it's weird because if you look at the bottle, it seems like it's the same density as the last polish, but if you look at it on the nail, it seems a bit more dense on this one. It starts to build on the second coat, but it is still pretty sheer. I mentioned liking Barely Frio in 2 coats, but this one I just really want to see fully opaque. It covered mostly in 3 coats for me with a slightly thicker third coat and floating the brush, but if I looked really close I could still see a bit of nail line. It was pretty negligible though. So that is 3 coats of I Smell Snow. The next polish is called Hopper, and this is described as a cool taupe gray with a cream finish. Great formula on this, applies really well, very even, very opaque, not quite a 1-coater, but pretty close. Levels itself out really nicely, just a very easy to use cream polish. This covered completely in 2 coats for me, and you can see it dries just a little bit darker than it is when it's wet, so on the nails it'll be slightly darker than it looks in the bottle. So that is 2 coats of Hopper. The next polish is called Roast the Mallow, and this is described as a bronzed caramel polish with a hollow finish. Great formula here, great coverage. I love the holographic finish mixed with any kind of brown neutral. I'm very into that right now. Just a little bit sheer on the first coat, but nothing to worry about. This covered completely for me in 2 coats, and the color deepened as well. This is a holographic with like scattered holographic bits, so it's not going to be textured like a glitter, and it will not be difficult to remove. That goes for all of the scattered holographic polishes in this collection. So that is 2 coats of Roast the Mallow. The next polish is called Poco Cocoa, and this is described as a rose taupe with a cream finish. Another great cream finish. This applies very smoothly, very evenly, levels itself out really nicely, nearly opaque in 1 coat. Could probably actually walk out the door with 1 coat of this, but I don't want to do that. Obviously this covered completely in 2 coats. This does dry quite a bit darker than it is when it's wet, so again, the color that's in the bottle is a little bit lighter than what the dry color will be on your nails. So that is 2 coats of Poco Cocoa. And the last polish is called By the Fireplace, and this is described as a bright cardinal red cream. Again, great cream formula here, applies like butter, levels itself out really nicely, really opaque. This is super bright, like it almost looked a little pink to me, super bright. This did cover completely for me in 2 coats, and it does dry a little bit darker than when it's wet. Once it dries to that slightly darker color, it kind of crosses that line from almost pink to definitely red. So that is 2 coats of By the Fireplace. So for comparisons, there are 2 polishes that I didn't have anything even remotely close enough to show a comparison to, and that is I Smell Snow and Roast the Mallow. For comparisons, I tried to stick within the same brand just so that I have some kind of parameters. Otherwise, it's just too many polishes to go through. For any other specific comparisons, not within the same brand, I am open to the idea of leaving them in a comment, because I know you can reply to comments with shorts and seeing if I can throw that comparison together. I can't guarantee that I'm going to be able to get to all of them, but I am open to the idea because I know you guys are going to come up with polishes that you want to see put side by side that I'm not going to think of. These are the only 2 that I didn't have any close enough comparisons to do. So starting with Barely Frio, I didn't have anything close in color and finish, and I'd like to kind of like match up both, but I did have Diamonds Are Forever, which is over here. This is much cooler and more taupey, where Barely Frio is much more peachy and warm. I also think there might be a little bit more of the holographic sparkle in Diamonds Are Forever, but I'm not really sure that that's a fair thing to compare since the colors are so different. So again, that is Barely Frio and Diamonds Are Forever. Next up I have Hopper. Both of these comparisons are from the Bibliothèque collection, which is the last collection I think that they released. No dupes, obviously, but I think close enough that I did want to show them together. So we have Hopper right here, and then this is Dark Academia, which is much darker and leans a bit purple. And then over here is Or Worse Expelled, again, warmer and darker. So again, that is Dark Academia, Hopper, and Or Worse Expelled. Next is going to be Un Poco Cocoa, which is this one and this one here with the stars, which don't actually look like stars. That's more just for personal use. First, I have Alana, which, oh, it's not Alana anymore. It's the polish formerly known as Alana, which I think is now Tiramisu, which is darker and warmer, more chocolatey. Then I have Mrs. Bennett, which is also a bit darker and warmer, almost a little more red toned. This is also a jelly. And then way over here is Mrs. Robinson, which I thought looked like a good comparison to make in the bottle, but then after I got them swatched next to each other, not really. It's very, very caramel and not even close in color. So again, that is Tiramisu, which used to be Aliana, Un Poco Cocoa, Mrs. Bennett, Un Poco Cocoa again, and Mrs. Robinson. And lastly, we have By the Fireplace, which is going to be this one and this one, again with little stars. The first one that I have over here is a KL polish. If you've been around for a little while, Lights Lacquer used to be KL polish. It was a whole thing. Now they're Lights Lacquer. So this is a KL polish called Ace, which is a bit darker. Then we have By the Fireplace. This is another KL polish. This one is called Magic City. This is very, very close. It's just a touch lighter and it looks a little more different in person than it does on camera, but very, very close in color. Again, that's KL polish Magic City. And then over here is Serendipity, also darker. This one also looks a bit more different in person than it does on camera. It is a couple shades darker than By the Fireplace. So again, this is KL polish Ace, By the Fireplace, KL polish Magic City, By the Fireplace again, and Serendipity. So I actually think I have two favorites here. I really like I Smell Snow. I do wish it was just a little bit more opaque than it is. I would like to have seen this built up a little bit easier. I think it could be a little bit more opaque without losing any of that sparkle, but I still really like it. I really like this shade of green. And for some reason, I've been really liking reds lately, which used to be my absolute least favorite color to wear, but I've been very drawn to reds. So even though it's not anything particularly unique, it's just a bright red cream, By the Fireplace also really stood out to me as a favorite. So that is the Lights Lacquer Cabin Fever collection. Again, I will link the Lights Lacquer website down below where you guys can check those out. I also have my coupon/affiliate code with Lights Lacquer, which will be on the screen and in the description box. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I will talk to you later. Bye.